What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got Gambit. I was going to say we got Gambit in Marvel Champions. I am extremely excited about having Gambit in Marvel Champions. Back when I was a kid, Spider-Man, Gambit, Punisher, they were my top three superheroes. Gambit's the best X-Man. This is the one I've been waiting for. When they started doing X-Men, I know Wolverine's cool and all of that, yay, but it's Gambit. Gambit is what I was waiting for. We're getting Gambit. I am absolutely delighted. How delighted? My wife had a spa day today. I took the day off work so I could be a chauffeur / actually parent my children. But now my children are in bed and I'm just making this video because I'm super excited about Gambit. So yay! So starting off with Remy LeBeau, then we got Recovery of 3, which is standard, but we got an action that lets you exhaust Remy LeBeau, and you do have to exhaust, which is a lot. But you look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck, one of them gets discarded, and you remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boost icons on that card. And this does 3 things. Number 1, reduces threat, that's good. Number 2, it takes a card you really don't want to see out of the encounter deck, at least until it gets refreshed. Number 3, it tells you what the top card of the encounter deck is. All of this is awesome. Then we move over to the hero. We got 1 fort, 2 attack, 3 defense. 2/2/2 is a standard, so basically not good at thwarting. But then again, you've got great thwart with your alter ego, and there's some good cards as well. So it actually, the hero not being good at thwarting doesn't really matter with the cards we've got around it. And then we got a defense of 3, which is really high. Now, what we've got, charged a card. There's an action, place 1 charge counter here. Brilliant. And throw the card and interrupt. When you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters, and that event deals +1 damage for each counter removed, although there is a nice little wrinkle we'll get to in a moment. So we've got, I told you about the thwarting here, we got the Thieves Guild. Alter Ego response, after you resolve your Thief Extraordinaire ability, exhaust the Thieves Guild, remove 1 threat from a scheme, but if this removes the last threat from that scheme, draw a card. So if you can manipulate this to continually be taking the last threat off a scheme, then this is a 1-cost support that removes 1 thwart per turn and draws a card. That is phenomenally efficient. Or we've got Creole Charmer here. Alter Ego action thwart, remove 3 threat from a scheme, but if this removes the last threat from that scheme, confuse the villain. Particularly good, obviously, for side schemes, or really just any game where you can control the amount of threat going on the main scheme. And this is good. This is what I meant about the hero, it's not good at thwarting, who really cares? Because the alter ego's got some really good tricks. But let's talk more about charge cards, shall we? Because, that's what Gambit does. So we've got charge card, a 2-cost event, hero action, deal 4 damage to an enemy. But if you resolved the throw the card ability when using this event, remember you've got to use it for an event at some point. If you removed 1 counter, you get ranged, 2 you get piercing, and 3 you gain overkill. And you'll notice it says also gains piercing and also gains overkill. So you remove tough counters, get around retaliation, and you get overkill so that if you take out a minion, you also get to put the extra overkill damage onto the villain. Yeah. If you can, then they're talking kind of combo-y here, right? There's some combos going on. But if you get those combos going right, this is absolutely wonderful. Now, Royal Flush, really interesting card. 3-cost event, hero action, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. Oh yeah, obviously they weren't just going to put charge counters on with the hero action, come on. There were obviously going to be cards that did it. Place 1 charge counter on Gambit, deal 0 damage to an enemy, deal 0 damage to an enemy, deal 0 damage to an enemy. Sounds kind of bad, right? No. Because you see, when we look at the hero here, it says quite clearly that what you do is when you play an attack event, remove up to 3 damage counters, that event deals +1 damage. So for a card like this, it activates 3 times. So if you remove 3 charge counters, you deal 3 damage, then 3 damage, then 3 damage. Oh, yeah. And there is an important note in the reveal article here, which we do need to mention. You can only remove 3 charge counters when you use throw the card, but you can build up as many charge counters as you like on Gambit. So if you build them up enough, you can keep taking advantage of cards like this, and it is beautiful. Now, Natural Agility is a 0-cost event, Hero Interrupt Defense. When you defend against an attack, place a charge counter on Gambit. This is wonderful, because again, it's a way to put a charge counter on, but it doesn't cost you any more than just playing the card. But for each charge counter on Gambit, you get +1 defense for that attack. And I just told you that there is no limit to how many charge counters you can have on Gambit. Oh. Yeah. And the card doesn't give you a limit for how much you can block here. I.e., if you get 6 charge counters on Gambit, you've got 9 defense with Natural Agility, which is absolutely absurd. I know. I mean, to be fair, I was always going to love this because it's Gambit, but now you're actually giving me stuff to get legit excited about beyond it just being Gambit. This one looks so much fun. Now we've got Gambit's Guild Armor, 1-cost upgrade, hero response after Gambit defends against an attack and takes no damage. And again, Gambit, well good at defending. Exhaust Gambit's Guild Armor and Ready Gambit. Yeah, that's good. That's very good, ladies and gentlemen. We like this. And then we've got a really nice resource card here, Molecular Acceleration. It gives you both an energy and a physical resource, and when you spend it, you get a charge counter. So we've got ways of getting charge counters on here. We've got a free card we've already seen, we've got a resource card, and this is beautiful. I adore this. You're building up charge counters. Gambit only really works with charge counters, and we've got good ways to get them on. Now, Rogue is obviously the signature ally here. If you're at all familiar with the comics and the X-Men lore in general, yeah, Rogue was always going to be the signature ally here. Obviously. 4-cost, free health, which I'm not usually a fan of. I'm not usually a fan of when the cost is higher than the health, but wait. 2 fort, all 2 attack, taking 1 residual damage for each. Reduce the cost to play Rogue by 1 for each charge counter on your identity. And remember, there is no limit to the amount of charge counters you can have. What that means is, if you've got 4 charge counters on, Rogue is literally free. Oh yeah, and she's got toughness as well, just in case that wasn't good enough. Yes. Now, out the box, Gambit is a Justice character, which you probably guessed with all the thwarting earlier. So we can look at some Justice cards like Operative Skill. You put 3 operative counters on there, and it's got an interrupt. When you thwart, remove an operative counter from here, and that thwart removes 1 additional threat. Alright. Breaking and Entering, a 2-cost event that can only be played if your identity has the Spy or Thief trait. You've got Thief here. And there's an action thwart to remove 3 threat from a scheme, which is quite nice. And Stealth Strike, which is a hero action attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If that enemy is defeated by this attack, bearing in mind we've got ways to boost our attacks really nicely here, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So, you know, decent damage and thwarting at the same time. Yeah. Do it. Now, we can also look at a couple of basic cards here. We've got Mutant Education, a 0-cost event that can only be played by mutants. And we've got an Alter Ego action. Choose up to 2 identity-specific cards in your discard pile. Shuffle them into your deck. And then if you've got X-Mansion in play, draw a card. This is good. I mean, for me, I am going straight after Molecular Acceleration like every time, because it's brilliant. I mean, there's a bunch of others, probably Natural Agility. Those 2 to me would be the obvious ones, but the point is you can grab whatever you like, and that's brilliant. And then we've got Beauty and the Thief, a 2-cost team-up card, obviously Gambit and Rogue, and it's a hero action, deal 4 damage to an enemy, remove 4 threat from a scheme. Yeah, that'll do, ladies and gentlemen. That'll do very, very nicely indeed. Now, as has been the case for a while now, we get ourselves a modular encounter set as well, and here it is, Exodus. Now, on the face of it, doesn't look amazing. 1 scheme, 1 attack, 6 health, that's not great. Now, we do have Retaliate 1, which will deal damage to you when you attack it, which is sad, and Villainous, which means that it does get boost cards, i.e., no, it's not particularly powerful, but you do get a face-down boost card from an activation, so yeah. And when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Psionic Shield attachment and attach it. How bad can that be? +1 scheme, +1 attack. bearing in mind you're also getting a boost card, and you attach it to a minion, otherwise it gains surge, and there's a forced interrupt when the attached minion would leave play, heal all damage, and put it back into play and discard this. So you don't just take down Exodus, you have to take down Exodus twice, because when revealed you are going to get Psionic Shield. And then we got the side scheme Herald of Avalon, and yeah, it gives you an extra encounter card. And when defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches the encounter deck and discard pile for Exodus and reveals him. So if you take down Exodus before the side scheme, you basically have to take down Exodus 4 times. So do yourself a favour, take out the side scheme before you take out Exodus. As soon as I saw Gambit was coming, I was like, I'm in. I am going to make this work because I love it. And now, when I have a look at this, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is like ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I love this. And look, I am not entirely unbiased here because of my love for Gambit as a character. There is absolutely every possibility that I am massively overrating this, and I don't even care. I am very, very, very excited about this. Go team, ladies and gentlemen. Go team. Obviously, we don't have a release date here, which is a little bit... No, wait, we do. Hang on a second. It's releasing in February. We have an actual, factual release date, and I am delighted. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now tell me what you think about this. Are you as excited about me, or am I going over the top? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Weiss. That's where we talk Marvel Champions and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.